Breyer is a Supreme Court justice. Okay. And he serves, obviously, no shit, Anuj, on the Supreme Court. Okay. So he's retiring from his lifetime appointment to the Supreme Court. Why is this significant? Who the hell is Stephen Breyer? Stephen Breyer was, basically was appointed as a Supreme Court justice by Bill Clinton way back in the 1990s, I believe in 1992, if I'm not mistaken. And he's been known as, and he's kind of a throwback justice for the liberals. And I liked him a lot, particularly because of the fact I liked him personally because he's a moderate liberal. He's kind of like that, again, Bill Clinton era Democrat, where it was like, you're not AOC, you're not super center, you're not super like, progressively left, but you're also not, Donald Trump and like on the right. Like you're just kind of like in the middle, but you lean kind of left on some social issues and you lean right kind of economically. And that's sort of what Stephen Breyer is in terms of his political affiliations from what we can tell based on his dissents and interviews and stuff like that. He's part of this liberal sort of trifecta of the court. It was him, Elena Kagan, and Sonia Sotomayor. And the thing is, like, the thing that everybody's worried about is, will the court get more conservative? And the answer is no, because Joe Biden is in office, Stephen Breyer is retiring, and so the presumed thing is, as a result, there's going to be another liberal justice that's basically replacing Breyer, so it'll just continue to have that 6-3 margin. And so the ideological trajectory of the court will still remain conservative, but it's not going to become even more conservative, if that makes sense. The Democrats, though, have kind of an ulterior motive here, because their goal is to get the successor sworn in as soon as possible, because there is going to be people who are so basically the Democrats have a super narrow advantage in the Senate. It's like one seat. That's it. So it's super small. And they are trying, and basically the midterm elections are coming up in November of 2022. So they're trying to rush this appointment as fast as possible through the Senate, through the Senate, to make sure that they can, even if all the Republicans say no, to make sure that, Biden's appointment is appointed and, you have that 6-3 advantage. And then it still remains 6-3 and it doesn't become 7-2 or anything crazy. They're trying to make sure this appointment just moves through the Senate very smoothly. And it's unlikely that Mitch McConnell can really do anything because the Democrats have an advantage in the Senate, even though it may be a minute one. But the Democrats are really trying to rush. They're trying to go really quickly because of the fact that the 2022 midterms are coming up. So Joe Biden and Stephen Breyer together are officially going to announce that retirement, his retirement on Thursday, which is today, actually, coincidentally. I'm just recording this at night. So by the time this podcast comes out, you will have seen the press conference or whatever, if you guys are interested in that. So he would have theoretically announced it by the time of this podcast. But again, like I said, senators want to move quick. That margin is small and they want to pounce. So that's why, like, you have Chuck Schumer coming out of the press today, he's like, yeah, we're moving quickly. We need we want the nominee list now. We're going to move her through the Senate, through the hearings, get everything done. Check. Good to go. So who is going to be the justice? That's what probably everybody is worried about. Apparently, Joe Biden has been on the record and he's been saying he's going to nominate a black woman to the bench. So that would be a first, I believe. Yes, that would be a first for the Supreme Court, a black woman. And Jen Psaki, I believe that's how you say her name, White House press secretary, my girl, Jen, made it very clear to her comments with the press today that Joe Biden intends to do that. Will he actually do it? Yet to be seen, but most likely, yes. They're going out on a limb and saying that. But Breyer is going to probably serve out the remainder of his term, most likely, which is the next couple months. So finish up all the rest of the cases that the Supreme Court is supposed to hear here shortly. And there's a few possibilities of some of the black women judges that Joe Biden has picked out. There's a few that are looking like very likely candidates. But nothing is in concrete. A couple of those women include Ketanji Brown and Leandra Kruger. I'm sorry if I mispronounced those names, but they're both potential candidates to watch for. Both of them have Ivy League law degrees, incredible legal credentials. Leandra Kruger actually ran the City Circuit Court here in San Francisco. The Ninth Circuit Court, I believe is what it's called. So she was a judge there. Very well respected. Have done a lot of good work through have done a lot of good work legally, and also I believe both of them are liberal justices in uh, liberal states, so it makes sense. They're also, quick thing to point out very quickly, they're both very young, 51 and 45 respectively, and like I said, Ivy League law. It's sad. I'm sad that Breyer is retiring because he was my type of justice. In that he was kind of like, he would ramble like I do. He was very like well versed in history and art and culture, and kind of um, went on rambles when he would question the various subjects in his court. He was moderate, like I said, but his ultimate sort of truth was fairness, and that's all that he wanted, was to be fair. And I respect that. That is very much a virtue that I hold true to my heart as well. They said again he was very lively and colorful, as well as open-minded, which is something that is very rare. And he's from the Bay Area, born and raised in San Francisco. So shout out to my boy Stephen Breyer. A lot of people, progressive activists in particular, were like calling for him to retire, particularly after RBG died, because they wanted to kind of solidify their just make sure that the court didn't get too conservative. But he's been on the record and he said multiple times, like, the court does not believe in politics. The court does not believe in politics, but like the court isn't politically involved, in that like the court is doing what's best for the law, and they have open discussions regardless of their beliefs personally on these issues, to make sure that they're having and to make sure that they're having an open discourse that maintains law and order in the country. And I think that's honestly true. I think the Supreme Court is one of the last governmental institutions to not be untouched by politics, which is incredibly beautiful. And I think it should be maintained like that. The court is really the last place where bipartisanship is accepted. Ruth Bader Ginsburg and Antonin Scalia were best friends in the whole entire world. And Antonin Scalia was one of the most conservative justices on the court. And Bader Ginsburg is an incredibly liberal human being. Like, she was one of the first, as you guys know, one of the first female justices on the court, and did a lot of great work as a Supreme Court justice, and was kind of the sort of vocal advocate for a lot of policies. And like I said, Breyer was one of the last people to really embrace that attitude that politics shouldn't be brought into the court, and that everybody should kind of be open-minded to every idea. He's from that Clinton era where America was actually open to sort of educated embrace debate, where you could have that have political debate, but also have a fundamental respect for each other as human beings, and moderates could exist. So Stephen Breyer will be missed by a few, I think me being one of them. So yeah. Gonna miss you, Breyer. Justice Breyer, if you're listening to this, thank you for serving on the court. Appreciate it. But it's going to be, again, probably a black woman appointed to the bench. You're going to see a lot of Instagram posts about it. For those of you who are Gen Z and social media, you're going to be like, oh my God, first black woman justice appointed. You heard it here first. I'm telling you right now, it's probably going to happen. So yeah, that's what I have to say about Stephen Breyer.